Good evening, and welcome to my live stream. Fight CPS and stop taking our children. I'm Bob Pace. I'm your host. This is my evening live stream. I'm on every night of the week at 7 p.m. That's in the evening. And then again, I'm on the mornings, Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. Fight CPS with Bob Pace. And again on Saturday and Sunday at 8 a.m. So this morning I was on at 8. And this being Sunday, I know that, Saturday. Tomorrow I'll be on at 8 o'clock. Tomorrow I'll be on at 8 o'clock. I think today was Sunday, but it's actually Saturday. And I'm in here to help you all with a very important matter that you've encountered. A government entity that has gone rogue, that's gone bad in a lot of different areas. Not all CPS is bad, but I'd say 50% of them are. I've already talked to over 2,500 people in 22 countries, and in the United States, that makes it 23 countries. And I've talked to all 50 states, including Washington, D.C. And it's a horrible thing to be caught up in CPS. I was. It's ruined my life. It's devastated my life. My life has not been the same. It started with me in 2010 when unfortunately I lost my job through no fault of own. I had a forever job and a forever home and a forever family. I couldn't ask for much more happiness in 2010. 6 children, 3 of them were older and 3 were younger, and I still had 4 in 2010 living at home. And the other 2 were out on their own. One is my oldest, the boy. He's a JAG in the Air Force in his 40s. And then my daughter, well, at that time he's younger than that. But anyway, my daughter that was in the home and moved out. And she was in her 30s, early 30s. And then my other daughter who moved out in 2014 was in her mid 30s. Anyway, they all have families. They're doing okay. Just that my family's been disheveled by what's happened with CPS. They aren't your friend. They aren't really who they're supposed to be, and they're not really doing what they're supposed to do with job-wise. Now, there's lots of ways you can interact with this live stream. One of the ways is you can text me a message. I put the banner up that tells you all about how to text a message to me. So I ask you, is you can text me a message. Okay. Oh. Another way is that you can send me emojis and check the follow button and the notification if you want to be notified when I'm on. Please do so. Also, please do reviews. That'd be great. Now, if you're in the United States, don't worry about putting the country because I already know all the states. So you don't have to put country. The country is for people outside the United States. There's 19 of you countries out there that have spoken up about CPS. Starting in Indonesia, going to Bangladesh, to India, then up to Middle East, to Saudi Arabia and Libya, then over to the continent of Africa, to Liberia, to Sudan, to the Republic of Congo, to Rwanda, Mozambique, and the provinces of South Africa. Then up to Europe, it's the United Kingdom of England, Scotland, Wales, and then Denmark and Sweden. Then across the pond to North America, it's Canada and its provinces, the United States and all 50 states, including Washington, D.C. South of border is Mexico, and further south in South America, north of Brazil, on the east coast is Grenada. Then across the South Pacific, we have New Zealand, then the land down under, Australia and its states. So that's a lot of variety. That's a lot of people, 2,500. And they all have something in common, like me and all of you. We're dealing with a corrupt agency that's gone bad. All they think about is taking your children and making your life like hell. See, the protection of children was mandated by Congress in 1962, which directed social services to create a group of social workers to protect our children from neglect and abuse. The Human Society, the Animal Society of Cruelty to Animals is already in place long before word about our children. Our children have had a history of troubled times. They've always been used as a commodity to help the family and so forth, and they were abused a lot. They were thrown out in the streets of New York, and in 1875, they're rescued by the society, the Rich Society in New York. But they're used in their mines, used in sweatshops, have always been abused. So this was a godsend in 62, but they didn't have any rules to back it up. Those rules didn't come later to 74. What was happening in the 60s is doctors were noticing kids coming in with bruises and things, and they find out that they weren't done by accidents. They're done intentionally. Parents were actually using very bad corporate methods and shaking their child like a little infant, their head going back and forth. It's terrible. Your brain is an important organ in your head, and you can't be shaken violently, especially at the developing stage. So we've had this CPS, the Child Protection System, going on for quite some time. We had other problems too. We had the Native American Indians were rounded up in 1875, almost the same time then, later in the 80s and 90s, but the children were taken away from the families and never seen the families again. They were brought back east, put on private schools, a haircut, their heritage ruined, their language not spoken of, and they were punished severely. And they were tortured and hurt. American Indians were like our black slaves. They were abused. In the South, we had a lot of black slaves, and their children were abused, and the adults were abused. It was terrible how people could abuse another society. And this was happening with the potato famine in Ireland, and it happened with all their cultures of life, religion, persecution, and everything. So the United States was a cosmopolitan of immigrants. As I said, the first immigrants were the Native American Indians who came via the land bridge up in Asia over to Alaska. And they settled down and went further south and went down into Central America and South America and met some of the people living down there. We had the Spaniards in the early 1500s going through Central America and South America and so forth. But the people that came after the Indians were not Europeans. Well, kind of. It was the Vikings. The Vikings were the next immigrants, but they weren't immigrating here to live. They came here, saw the Indians, and they did not stay. They're far from home. Some of them settled in Greenland and Iceland, but there's no settlement of Vikings they found in North America. They got as far west as Missouri. They found artifacts from Vikings there, up to Rhode Island, Nova Scotia. But their presence was only temporary in their exploration and pillaging the world. It wasn't until The English in the Mayflower brought over people to live here, start colonies. The Jamestown colony, the Plymouth colony, the lost name colony. There's some lost name colonies that, the people disappeared. But we had lots of people coming here. We had the French and we had the um, Danish and Scandinavian countries, the Irish, the Scottish, um, Portuguese. We had a lot of great people come over here from Europe looking for a new life, and that's where the colonies were started. Well, anyway, there isn't much I can find about children back then, but that was a long time ago. That was a long time ago. But today we got a terrible reality that 75% of all cases that are reported are due to negligence, and 25 are by abuse. So a lot more negligence than abuse. But abuse is bad too. There's no question. Every day you pull up a paper or see in the paper, here in the news, child left in a car and they die in the heat, 150 degrees, and get in the car. This past week, I've counted 5 children that have been killed leaving in the car. One was a social worker brought home, forgot about a 3-year-old boy in Alabama. Another was a father who went shopping for an hour, left his 3 boys in the car. Luckily, they were rescued. But a lot of it's nothing with a happy story. It really doesn't. I mean, today I was reading about a boy that was found in a dishwasher, all bruised, beat up, because his dad was upset because the boy took his snacks and candy, and he thought he'd be funny and throw them in the dishwasher with running. The guy drowned and was bruised and beaten up and everything with the dishwasher agitators. It was terrible. So there is abuse and there is neglect. There's a lady up in Ohio that goes for a week on vacation, leaves her little 4-month-old child in one of those bouncy seats, and comes back and the baby's dead. She's stupid enough to ask, why did my baby die? Well, if you're gone for a week with no food or water, you're going to die. Also, you sat in your diaper with all these maggots. It was gross. The lady from Ohio, was sent away, but, it's not going to bring back the little child. It's not going to bring back the child. So it is necessary for people to report abuse or neglect. And there's 2 kinds of people that do that. There are the professional people and then the lay people. Well, the professionals are your doctors and nurses and teachers, administrators and counselors, caregivers, those kinds of individuals, policemen and firemen. They're trained and they're supposed to recognize. But it's so sad, they only get it 0.5% right. 50% of the right, they get it right. There was 200,000 cases last year, and 2 million of them were wrong. There was nothing they could find. Then there's the other person, the lay person. That's your family and friends and relatives and, the guy down the street or the mechanic or some people that are not dealing with children. Use it as alternative motives. They're about 99% wrong. There's very rare chance, or I shouldn't say, I'd say 75% wrong and 25% right. Unfortunately, mine was my in-laws, my wife's mother and father, 3 sisters and brother were constantly harassing from Ohio to California and tell them that we were awful parents. And that's went on for 5 years. And they came out and they never found anything. They came out once a week, never found anything. I showed them the house. I did all the wrong things you do when you get involved in CPS. They got more and more angry, and they were out determined to get me. They really wanted to get me and my wife. And it's sad. Now, I'm not an attorney, but I'm a loving father. I've helped raise 6 children, and I have 42 years of marriage and 61 years of life skills. I've been working for 61 years. So I'm here to help you. I care about you. I come on here all the time trying to help out people. There's so many people that I've talked to. Now, another way you can be interactive with this podcast is to be a guest on my live stream. All you have to do is email my show producer, Grace. It's on the screen. Put the banner up there. There are 14 shows you pick from. You want to be on Bob's Monday morning show or Bob's Sunday night show or Bob's Friday morning show or Wednesday night. Whatever you say, all you do is tell her the day of the week and whether it's morning or night. And she'll take care of the rest. She'll send you a link to get you onto StreamYard, which is a software application I use that uses YouTube to broadcast. And I hope you do. 2 nights ago, or was it? Yeah, it was last night. I had Anna Smith, a foster kid, brought up a hard time. She shared that, and then she's adult and she's having children and had misfortune. She suffered everything as a foster child. And one thing if any of you are foster children listening, anybody under the age of 18, when you become 18, make sure you clean your record. Don't let CPS hang on to your data, because when you become adult, they'll go right for you. They'll go right for you. So you need to purge your record. You can get an attorney to do that. And speaking of attorneys, I have one that I work with. His name is Vincent W. Davis. He is a very experienced juvenile law, family law, dependency attorney with over 39 years of experience of getting kids back and fighting CPS. He's a criminal law attorney. He's also a civil attorney. He can go after your civil rights are violated, either your civil rights or your amendment rights, your constitution rights. But he's a real deal. If your case is over, he'll sue, and he's won millions of dollars. So he's a real deal. And so his number, by the way, and I need to put his number up there. Well, his number's right there. But well, let's see here. It's 888-888-6582. It's the one in red there. Red and white lettering. And that's the number of the office. And when you reach the office, you're going to get reception, and make sure you tell them that Bob Pace sent you. And then when you talk to Mr. Davis, make sure you tell him that Bob Pace sent you. But he's ready to be hired, ready to be interviewed. He's $500 an hour. His retainer for LA County in California is $5,000. Now, it'll fluctuate from area to area. It all depends on how long your case has been going on and the complexity of your case. That's how it determines. But he's the mid-range to be an attorney. Attorneys run from $200 to $1,000 an hour. In fact, he's not mid-range. He's the 1/3 range. So he has a fair price. And I know most of you are asking, well, I can't afford attorney. I can't get attorney. Or you say, they gave me attorney. And hello, Parker. I haven't heard from you in a while, maybe a day or two. I let CPS my house, and my son, and I guess they saw her son naked, and they had the audacity to state in the emergency removal petition that the department had not seen him. Well, yeah, they're going to lie, Parker. They're going to lie. And by the way, Parker, where are you from? I forget. Dang it. I wish I could remember that. If you could just tell me the city you're from, I'll figure out the rest. I do remember the name Parker, and welcome. And I don't know how they came in your house. I guess you let them in. That's the one mistake you're not supposed to do. My number 3, do not let CPS or police in your house. Your front door is like a drawbridge in a castle. Once it's closed, the drawbridge is up. Never open the door unless you know who's there. And a good way to do it is when you talk with family and friends who are dropping by, tell them about a special knock or tell them about a special ring. And that way you'll know who's there at the front door. And not only is it important to keep your door closed to strangers, you don't know when you're going to get shot at. There have been several people killed by the police, no questions asked, shot. Like one boy, Air Force airman from Alabama, a really good-looking black man, opened the door and he shot 5 times in the chest by the Gainesville Sheriff Department in Florida. Why? The sheriff thought it was domestic violence. He had the wrong apartment. But he's dead. He died on the phone talking to his girlfriend on FaceTime. So I'm telling you, I'm telling you, do not open the door. You don't have to. And tell your family not to open the door. You should teach that to kids. That's one of the life skills that you teach young children. Don't talk to strangers. Don't open the door to strangers. Don't answer the phone. You know, these are things you got to learn and teach. I have a lot of life skills. But that's my rule number 3 is you don't open the door and you don't talk to the police there. The police only come because the Child Protection Agency wants the intimidation factor. You see, policemen look very intimidating. I mean, they're not dressed in civilian clothes, and they're dressed with all kinds of bullets and guns and all these trinkets around their waist. It looks like, I don't know. They don't know how to shoot a gun either. They do know how to shoot it in the chest, but they never think about the feet or the hands or disabling somebody. They like to shoot to kill first. Like the black lady in LA that was doing the dishes and the sheriff shot her 5 times in the face. 5 times. I don't know what this thing about 5 times is. Maybe that's typically what a gun holds is 5 rounds. And the person that shoots gets so excited, they have to hold the trigger down. You shoot one guy in the foot or the arm, it's gonna take them down. And if they have a gun, then shoot them at the hand, and the gun will come flying out. Learn how to shoot a gun, policemen. Learn how to do firearm safety. Don't leave guns at home. Here's a life skill. Don't leave guns at home unless they're locked up. Too many people are leaving guns at home, and children get home and shoot other children. That's called neglect. That's called neglect when a mother or father doesn't lock up the gun. Georgia, that's right, Parker. Parker, yeah, you're in Georgia. I remember now. Yeah, but you may not think you have nothing to hide, but they're going to look around and find something. And they're going to make accusations. They might find some drug paraphernalia, or they might find some other paraphernalia, like maybe an adult magazine stacked somewhere, or maybe there's some alcohol or stuff like that. You see, your home is your castle. You need to keep people out of there you don't know, because they'll blow it up. They will blow it up. I said the same thing. I let them in my home, but the time I let them in the last time in 2015, when they ordered me to open the home, I had my parents' belongings in my living room, and I was sorting them. And because I had all my parents' belongings, 55 years of marriage from a 3,000 or 3,500 square foot home, that was a lot of belongings. But they're in boxes and furniture stacked. It was neatly stacked and neatly organized. I was sending them off to relatives and friends because my dad had died. My mom couldn't take care of it, so I was. And they said I was neglecting my kids. They say that the boxes could attack the kids. The furniture could attack the kids. The kids had an upstairs room. Each of them had their own room and own bathroom. They had a playroom called a family room with a big screen TV, and they could play their video games. They had a doorway to the backyard, which was locked, padlocked, and everything else, chains on it, everything to the swimming pool. There's a breakfast nook area where they could eat breakfast and lunch. There's a counter where they could eat at the counter. There was a formal dining room. There was nice long hallways. There was a library study downstairs, computer room, bathroom downstairs. Upstairs was each of their bedrooms and their own bathrooms. The master suite up there. And the yard was huge. But oh no, they were determined to find something. That's why you don't let them in. They're determined. They don't have any ammunition. And they're looking for something. They're looking for something. So that is the rule. You don't want to let them in. You're taking a chance. Hello, Carrie Sampson. Yes, you're from Burke County, Georgia. And I gave you some information. Hopefully some of it worked. No, we don't know. I know, Carrie. I sympathize with you. Some of the information I gave you is hope you could find the court orders. It's wrong. You're required by law to be served notice. And if they're going to take your child from you or want to come into your home, they have to have a court order. Now, they usually start off with a plan, a safety plan, and they usually have their first hearing, which is the dependency hearing, is a hearing to decide where the children are going to stay. Now, they don't take children, but they do it all the time because unless they're in danger, you don't need to take the children. And that's the problem. CPS thinks all the time they're in danger. In my case, my kids were in school. They thought they're in danger, so they took them. And like a fool, I didn't argue with them. I didn't know my civil rights or constitutional rights. I didn't have an attorney present. That's why you need an attorney, and a court appointed attorney is not going to help you. And I realize that's the hardest thing people are having. But I'm telling everybody you should get something called legal insurance. It'll pay for the retainer, it'll help you with your insurance costs. There are several companies I've found for insurance quotes for legal matters. I mean, they'll come up with the $50,000 retainer or the $100,000 retainer. And you may have other legal matters you need help on. So there is legal insurance, but people don't think or didn't think it's available. I mean, they have homeowners insurance for damages from floods and wind and hail and so forth. They have earthquake insurance. Um, they have car insurance from accidents. They have mechanical insurance in case your car breaks down or has repairs. They have appliance or home appliance insurance in case your appliances don't work. There's all kinds of insurance. There's even pet insurance to take care of your dog. Well, there's something called legal insurance. And it's a life skill you should think about. You should get a quote about legal insurance. You can have a son or daughter that gets caught in a DUI, drunk, you know, and you're not going to be able to afford it, or the bond, or those kinds of things. So you all should look into legal insurance. Not more than Zoom or some of these legal insurance are just like for doing wills and stuff. I'm talking about the real thing. I'm talking about criminal matters, dependency matters, real estate matters, immigration matters, health matters, the workplace matters, marriage, matters, divorce, and so forth. Anyway, Carrie lives in Burke County. I looked it up. I know exactly where the Department of Health Services is. That's who she should be dealing with. And I told her to contact higher ups to get a copy of those records. There's no reason why they're keeping it from her. The clerk at the court does have the information. It's on a computer and they can print it out. All you need to do is to get a case number. Anyway, I'm glad to see you back here, Carrie. Hopefully some of the stuff I gave you helped you last night. I don't know. She was on the phone last night and I really appreciate it. Or no, was it the night before last, Carrie? I can't remember. Um, um, see what Carrie says. Parker, I understand I don't have anything to hide, but CPS doesn't care. They just want money for taking your kids. That's so true, Carrie. Carrie Simpson's true. You know, I don't know what the status of your case is, Parker, but it was bad. Now, besides the live stream, I'm gonna put my number up that people can call in tonight. I'd love to have someone call in tonight. I'd love to have somebody call in tonight. It'd be great. Here's my number. It's up there. 626 698 0990. That's my number. So anyway, I'm open to calls. I love to help you if I can. And Carrie or Parker, if you want to call, that would be great. Okay, I just missed a call. What happened? I think you just called. Hey, Cruella. Welcome to the show, Cruella from Oxnard, California. Whoever called in can call me again. Hello. Yeah, this is Bob Pace with the live stream. Please call me back at 626-698-0990. It's a live stream fighting CPS. So please call me back. Um, hmm. Hello, live stream. This is Bob Pace. Pretty good, but who is this? Oh, great, Parker. Were you the one that just called me a few minutes ago? Oh, well, there was someone that called me from 607 and I left a message and they didn't answer and I called them right back. Well, I'm glad to hear from you, Parker. Parker, what can I do for you? Well, I don't know. You should stay with people called ad litem, the ombudsperson, or the CASA. Those are bad people. Now, what is your Well, you know what they're supposed to do? They're supposed to help give, you know, uh, reach out and help people when they're in this state. But what they are, they're listening ears for the child protection system, and they will just report to you as soon as you tell them anything that's that is gossipy that they want to hear. Well, first of all, you got to refresh me about your case. I've heard, so many of them. It's hard. I mean, I've talked to over 2,500 people, and it's hard to remember all of them. It's okay. I know you're from Georgia. What did the
me, and we took her into Carolyn, which is the Children's Healthcare of Atlanta, and they found a hole in her heart, and we stayed up there with her for about 8 days, and came back home to get fresh clothes and a shower, and was subsequently arrested for what they called withholding sustenance, and accused us of starving our daughter on purpose.
Okay. Now, what's this person called again? The Lightem? What's the full name of them? Yeah, they're called ad litem? Okay. Everybody litem.
Yeah, she just had open heart surgery 2 weeks ago to
Yeah.
repair. It was the VSD, the ventricular septal. What was the D? What did the D stand for? I don't remember right now off the top of my head. Defect.
Okay.
Ventricular septal defect.
All right. Here is what the guardian ad litem is at the Georgia office of the Child Advocate. That's the website that I helped with Carrie Sampson from Burke County, Georgia. The guardian ad litem, it's ADLITEM, it's 2 words. It's the juvenile court dependency proceedings. It's the dependency court you're in. You're in with juvenile law, family law, and dependency law. In juvenile court dependency proceedings, a child has a right to an attorney at all stages of the proceeding. The court should appoint an attorney for the alleged dependent child. Well, see, the sad part about that is that when you let CPS appoint the attorney works for CPS. They're hoping you accept that because I know you don't have a choice there. Because in addition to the child's attorney, the Federal Child Abuse Prevention Treatment Act, as well as state law in Georgia, requires the appointment of a guardian ad litem to represent an abused or neglected child in all stages. You see, they're already assuming you're guilty, that you already abused or neglected the child. The child attorney may serve as a GAL unless or until a conflict of interest rises. So there's a conflict of interest, they have to be removed. A guardian of ad litem, I call him GAL, can be attorney or non-attorney. In the case of a non-attorney, Georgia law requires the court to appoint a court-appointed special advocate, which is the CASA. Oh, I hate those people. Now, the CASA is a court-appointed special advocate. It's a volunteer to serve as the guardian of ad litem whenever possible. And a CASA may be appointed in addition to an attorney serving as the child's guardian of ad litem. See, that's a mistake in my case. My daughter had a CASA that steered her in the wrong directions. It fed her nothing but untruths and lies. Now, it's also required that before the appointment as a guardian ad litem in dependency cases in juvenile courts, such person shall have received training appropriate to role as guardian ad litem. So you need to check the background of that child's ad litem to see what background of training they have. But it's
Okay.
administrated or approved by the Office of the Child Advocate for Protection of Children. So it's all done in house, and they got dirty hands in there. The language mirrors
Yeah.
the child abuse prevention and treatment, which is called CAPA, CAPTA, which requires an attorney or court-appointed special advocates who are appointed as guardians ad litem receive training appropriate to the role. The statute is clear the state must have provisions and a procedure in place to assure that every child who is the subject of abuse or neglect proceeding is appointed a GAL, guard ad litem. But see, the thing is, you need to check their background because if they don't have proper training, you could call them on there. And that's why you get yourself a real attorney because they will investigate and find out. But you can investigate them too. You can do a background check and you can look at them. If you have to, you have to hire a private eye. You will find out if that person has the training. Now, they have to receive training appropriate to the role, including training that addresses early childhood, child and adolescent development. So you ask them, what kind of classes have you had in child development? Where did you get your child development classes? See, an attorney in court who's representing you would ask right off the bat, what is your role? What's your background? If they don't have an answer, they'll be removed. That's how an attorney working for you will get removed of them.
Yeah, unfortunately,
Oh, how did you hire a public defender? They're free. Oh. Let me tell you about judges. All the judges in courts are supposed to be referees, and they're supposed to be trained in dependency court, juvenile court, and family court. But a lot of judges aren't. They are elected officials. Someone wants to be a judge, they run for office, and the people vote them in. And that's the problem. They're not appointed, they're voted in by the people. And sometimes people is arbitrarily, oh, he has a nice name, or this guy looks good, or I like his picture. And they'll put people. My judge had no background in family reunification, no background in children development or child dependency, or he was specializes in automobile claims and car accidents. That's all he knew about. Now my children were not cars. And it wasn't until I got an attorney that flushed them out. You see, that's how you get rid of judges. If they're not qualified, they can be removed. But you need that pit bull of attorney. And I finally got one, but it cost me a fortune. It cost my forever home. I had to sell my forever home to hire an attorney. And it was a lot of bucks. It was a lot of dollars. I know that. But see, here's the other thing. Did you think about getting legal insurance when you first got married? No, you think about house insurance, car insurance, or you maybe life insurance, but you don't think about legal insurance. And legal insurance will pay you, not legal shield, not where they're going to do your will or trust or a $5 here or 10. I'm talking about legal insurance. They'll pay $100,000 retainer and help you hire that attorney that's going to win your case. No, I know, and I didn't have it either. Don't feel bad. I did not have it either, but I wish I did because I still have my home. I've lost my home, sadly. God, when did I lose my home? In 2017 and was 8 years ago. I lost my home. It's worth $2 million now if I kept it. It's gone. I had to sell it for as much as I paid for it. It's bad. But you should really check out this website I'm looking at, all about the Guardian Lives in Casa. Oh my God, that is so bad. The CASA people are so bad. They're terrible. They don't have the proper training, and you need to flush these people out. You need to flush the attorneys. You need to flush the judges. You need to flush the guardian ad litem. You need to flush the all the people connected with the case, and that's what a good attorney will do. Well, right. Well, I know that, but what you do, and see what my attorney did when I hired him in, he nailed our social worker. He nailed her so good, so good. Vincent Davis, they were trying to adopt my daughter. These my wife's sister and husband, and the social worker was on the stand, sworn underneath the oath, and he was asking what kind of parents these people were, and she said, "Oh, they're good parents." He went on further. He says, "Well, how long have they been married?" And he went on and on. He was leading her down a baited trap. But then I get to the chase here. He asked, "How good have these parents be? Have they ever had domestic violence?" Now, he knew about domestic violence. No one else knew in the court, even myself. But he done his investigation. He had a folder with all these domestic violence reports. So she said, "Oh, no, they're great parents. No, no domestic violence." Well, then he kind of quizzed his head a little bit and said, "Ma'am, here, dated such and such, is a police report of so and so of domestic violence." So he read report after report. Not only were they yelling and shouting, they were hitting each other and using weapons. So, what kind of a environment you want a 12-year-old to grow in there? So he got her good. Yeah, he got her good, and she committed perjury. And she was so crying she left the court. She was so embarrassed. Here's a professional social worker, had no training, no college degree, didn't even finish high school, was only 23 years old, and knew all about money, how to get money, and the bonuses they give her and stuff. But she knew nothing about family or parenting classes or domestic violence classes or alcohol awareness. I mean, she knew nothing about the programs, nothing. Here she is manipulating our case. She was blasted, but she retaliated. That is the sad thing about CPS. She coached our daughter and told her daughter that you're 12 years old in the state of California, you can emancipate from your parents and their family. You can get a divorce, and that's what she did. She said also you need to change your name. That's what she did. She also said you can seal your birth certificate. That's what she did. She said you can get a new birth certificate. That's what she did. She said you can get a second social security card, which she did. And she was double dipping from my retirement plan because I was getting money because of my age to help out my family. When you reach a certain age, when you're in your 70s, the government will pay additional money from your retirement to help you with your children under the age of 18 with their expenses. Because a lot of people are not working at age 70. They retire if they're lucky, can't. I can't. I lost my home, I lost everything, and I have to work until I'm dead, until I die, I guess. But yeah, I know the feeling. It's hard. It's really hard. But anyway, uh, it's now history because I did all the wrong things. And I wish I had hired an attorney. I wish I had that legal insurance that could have plopped down a $50,000 retainer. Yeah, well, you're cheap. You're cheap. I spent a couple hundred plus my home. I mean, I've lost so much money. It's unbelievable. Well, it's hard with people because you may have other mouths to feed. I have a family man, and my family comes first. And when three of your young children are taken from you, and they were young, the oldest was 14, and then 11 and 8. That's how young they were. And yeah, wow. And I was 65 at the time they took away the children. It's 10 years later now, and I'm 75, but it is hard and sad. It's hard and sad. Okay, well, that's still young. That's still young. Well, you're very blessed, and I'm glad you did. Now, write this name down. Write this name down. The Georgia Office of the Child Advocate. It's a great website. I found out so much stuff there for Carrie Sampson, and I have phone numbers on there and everything. But you can go to the website. All you do is go to oca.georgia.gov. Now, the OCA stands for the Office Child Advocate. So it's oca.georgia.gov. And then if you want to go further, you do a /training and a /guardian ad litem juvenile court dependency proceedings. And that's the page I'm in. But you'll find a lot of stuff in here. I bet you did not know that you're supposed to question the judge and question the attorneys, question the CASA person, question the guardian ad litem. There's also an ombuds person you got to be careful about too. They also try to give CASA. They try to give CASA to parents too. They try to give me one. I told her to go take a hike. Anyway, well, you can, especially if you found they're not qualified to be ad litem. Ask about their background. Ask them what classes that they took. Oh, there's a lot of things that they do there. That's why if you go to the Georgia Office of Child Advocate, you can go there, and from there they have protocols and resources. They say the best interest advocacy guide for guardians and litems, statewide model protection for child abuse protocol, Georgia resources, natural resources. You can request the Office of Child Advocate assistance or investigation. There's the child abuse and neglect reporting, how to report it, all about the OCA. And this is all from Georgia. This is all from Georgia. Well, I hate to argue with you, but it seems like every state is. I've yet to meet, I've only had one social worker that came on here and said, "Hi, I'm a social worker from Maryland. I have a degree in clinical psychiatry. I had 6 months of training in Maryland, and before I started work, and I'm appalled at what you're saying about us." And I said, "Well, go on, tell me more. I'll listen to you." And she did. She talked for 40 minutes, and I guess in her neck of the woods, it's great. I said, "Well, you're one of the few. If there were 100 CPS, 50 of them are bad, 50 of them are good." But how do you know? How do you know when you throw the dice that you're going to come up with all good or bad? Fighting CPS is like a crapshoot. You're fighting CPS, and you need to have an attorney as good as a doctor doing open heart surgery. If a doctor is doing your heart and opening up the cavity, it's going to be a damn good doctor. You're not going to get a dishwasher to do open heart surgery. You're not going to get a plumber. And there's nothing wrong with being a plumber or a dishwasher. I don't want anybody to think I'm ranking on things there. But a medical school doctor goes through a lot of years of medical internship. He mentors. He gets a license. He's control. I mean, there's goes on and on and on and on. And that's why they get the big bucks. The same go for attorneys. That's why they're expensive, because they're good at what they do. If you get a good one, now you can get a bad one. Believe me, there's enough bad ones out there. Oh yeah, I do pro bono. Ha 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 ha. Right, they do pro bono, lose you say. So I'm telling you, Parker, you got to be careful out there. And I really hate to cut this short, but I looked at the clock and it's sad. It's my ending time. It's now 8:11. And I've already been talking for 55 minutes, which is my running time. So I started a little bit late. And I want to thank the person that sent me a heart emoji. Right. That was Lee James. Thank you, Lee James, for that nice little emoji of a heart. I love heart. I love those. And I've had some other people in here, Cruella, who is Felicia from Oxnard, California, has a case in Ventura County. She has two kinds of cases. She has her two babies being held by her father. Her stepfather won't give them back to her. And another case where her stepbrother uh, kicked her out of the home by a false eviction. So she has up there. Okay, Corilla found Legal Shield. Let me tell you guys about Legal Shield. Legal Shield is not replace a full attorney. Legal Shield will help you file motions, help you do some things, but it can be very costly. Legal Shield is a great idea. If you want to do a will or you want to do something simple, Legal Shield is a good way to go. But it's illegal. It's not insurance. It's kind of like insurance, but I'm talking about full-blown legal insurance will give you retainers. But that's a good start, Cruella. That's a good start. And Tony the Tiger from Otsego County, New York. How do you get legal insurance? Well, you just type in legal insurance. Go to a thing called Otsego County, New York. Put in CPS. And right after that, put in legal insurance. And you'll find and get 3 quotes. First, ask them, do they do child protection law, dependency law, family law, juvenile law, criminal law? You want a good kind of insurance. There's 2 of them I found, and they've ranged from 50 cents a day to $1 a day, 365 days a year premium. That's not bad. And you pay $31 a month. You pay $31 a month, and that gets you $50,000, $100,000 insurance. So, there may be a deductible. There may be a $250 deductible or $500 deductible, but I'm telling you, get the legal insurance. And Intended Eve, thank you for coming in. Intended Eve is from Los Angeles, California, and he had some things to tell you. He said, Parker, if you have communication with a social worker prior to them arriving at your home, subpoena telephone records of their devices. So he's trying to help you with some information. Also, Intended Eve says, people do not understand that all courts, no matter the branch, it is running under its functions the same. The only thing the difference is the lingo and the form numbers. You're right. All the judges are referees, and they got to be properly trained. If they're not, then you don't want them. And like Cruella accepted a commissioner. Do not accept commissioners. Accept judges only. Commissioners don't know what they're doing or talking. She got screwed there. And Carrie from Georgia says, Mr. Bob, I want to thank you for giving me the information. I just have to call and wait till Monday morning to handle that. I'll let you know how that goes. Hopefully someone will help me. I hope so, Carrie. I'm trying to help you. And Cruella says, gather all your evidence. I agree. And Tony says, hey, family, I need help making the world aware my son is in the process of being trafficking as we speak. That's good, Tony. We will help you with your son. She has a 14-year-old son that's been drugged by CPS. And Carrie says, Parker, I understand I don't have anything to hide, but CPS don't care. They just want money for taking my kids. And Carrie says, I'm Carrie. Yeah, I live in Burke County, Georgia. I don't know too much about my CPS case. I just know CPS took my kids without a sign order by the judge, and I can't afford an attorney to help with my case. And then we're back to Parker, who talked. All of you are excellent people that come into my room. You're all part of my family. I want to thank you all. But I do have to end this live stream. Now, keep in mind, I'm on again tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock in the morning. For you guys in Georgia, it's 3 hours ahead of me. So that's 8 to 9, 9 to, that's 11 o'clock. And if you're in England, it's 8 hours ahead of me. And if you're in Europe or Africa, it's 9 hours. So usually about noon here on the West Coast, it's dinner time in Europe and Africa. So if you can think about that and so forth. And of course, the East Coast, when it's noon, you guys are thinking about early dinner. But anyway, I want to thank you for calling in, Parker, and God bless you. Yeah, I really am. I really care about you people, but I'll be back here. But I've already talked 1 hour, and it's now 8:16. So I've gone over my time. But I think we had a good talk, and I think you guys learned some things. And I'm around. And so God bless you all. There'll be a brief message about Vincent Davis. It's a nice video. It's kind of musical. It's got a saying. It's got a little bit of rap, and it's kind of with the times. Please listen to it, and remember, don't forget to fight for your children. Keep fighting for them. Your family is important to you. God bless you. And this is Parker, and Bob Pace signing off. Good night.
A vivid picture is encrypted in your mind as the critics get in line like they're witnessing a crime. But then you notice there's a shiver in your spine from the feelings of discontentment and bitterness combined. Heartbroken when you listen to the judges, another kid's innocence corrupted. And if you go against it, it's destructive. Consider this predicament the toughest, but we believe in a system fit for justice. Child Protective Services only pretends to save it. The one solution for this is worthy of instant praises. 30 years of experience with relentless cases. Allow me to introduce them. This is Vincent Davis, defending you when they don't think a mother fits the role. Is it juvenile dependency or government control? Observe the pain in their eyes. It's time for us to realize we are the last